Okay. Now I'm going to talk about the insert ribbon, and the insert ribbon has, so as you can see when you take a look at it, a lot of different things that you can do. And we'll talk about a few of these. I'll mention some of the others in passing, and some of them we'll talk about maybe when we get to Excel or PowerPoint. The first thing I want to talk about is the page break. And the page break is one of those tools that you really need to remember. When you're working on a paper and you need to put your works cited page on a new page, page break is the way to do that, okay? The habit or the tendency is for people to maybe do something like, say, I finished typing, so now I'm going to press enter until I get to a new page. And while that looks okay, especially when you don't have show hide turned on, now if something happened, I'm going to put that back on, and I needed to edit my document, okay, and maybe add a couple paragraphs to make it longer. I counted my words and whatever, it wasn't long enough. Okay, what happens then, see, is your works cited page shifts. If instead of pressing enter, let's back up so that we're back to where we started, I insert a page break. Okay, so now it's on the top of the next page, just like before, but now if I have to edit, okay, it doesn't move. It stays at the top of the next page. And so it's a tool, but it is one of those tools that can make your life a whole lot easier. You don't have to remember to go back and fix the formatting. You just know, I put a page break in, it's going to be at the top of the next page. Also, if you insert a page break, you can use that to force a page break. So if you have a heading on one page and the rest of the text on another, you can force the text to break with a page break. Okay, and for now, just follow along. I don't think I said that, or watch what I'm doing. Let me undo back, and we will do together in a little bit. Let's see, get rid of some of that. Okay, so now we're back to our document. So that's one thing you can insert. Another thing you can insert is a picture. Okay. Now, we talked about using copy and paste. I don't know if I even have anything. We talked about using copy and paste. You can certainly copy and paste a picture into your document for that. I was trying to find something kind of innocuous. Alright, I don't know what that is, but we'll stick that one in there. Okay, so we can insert a picture into our document if you have that picture saved. Okay, if you use copy and paste, it'll come in straight into it, and that works great, assuming that you're ready for the picture. But if you find a picture and you want to use it later, you can use the save picture and then use insert picture. Something cool about pictures is once it's in there, you get a whole nother toolbar, and we'll mess with the toolbar a little later, but if you need to adjust the height or the width, if you want to make it bigger or smaller, you can do that. If you don't, if it needs cropping to fix something, you could crop it for that. You can also wrap the text. Okay, wrapping is something that you can do. So if I want my text to wrap around, maybe I'll move it up there. It'll show up a little bit better. Okay, so that my picture is next to my text. Wrapping text is what lets you do that. For that, and the rest of the stuff, again, we'll mess with more when we get to the ribbon toolbar. Another thing you can insert is clip art. Now, clip art, I don't know that the newer versions actually have clip art. They come up, but the version in the lab does. If not, you can choose include, whatever online content you've got. But make sure if you're working on it that you have to include other options. And we can search for something like fish. And when we find a clip art we like, we can just insert it. And that one actually looks more like a picture than the clip art, but that's okay. Well, we can work with that as well. So you insert it, works the same way. You get the formatting ribbon the same way, okay, and you're good to go. All right, then I'm going to close that clip art ribbon and let's talk about headers and footers. Now a header is text that appears in the margin at the top of your page. The footer would be text that appears in the margin at the bottom of every page. The way you get it in there with the insert ribbon is over here where you choose header. And you can see there's a lot of choices for header. I typically just go with blank because then I can set it up the way I want. When I am in header, I get, again, another ribbon, which we will work with. So for now, just watch. And I can type text. So I could type my name, maybe. If I press tab once, it will center text. And I can actually insert, you see there's a date and time button, so I could insert that if I wanted to. For that, if I press tab again, it will right align it. So if I wanted to add a page number. Now be careful with the page numbers. If I go page number and top of the page, it'll erase what I had in my header. So if I want text and the page number, I need to use current position, and it will insert that page number for me. I can get to the footer just by switching and go to footer, okay, and go back and forth in between. So text that appears in the margin is the header or footer. We will do more with this when we get to the header and footer ribbon. In fact, I'm just going to delete that right now. Close my header and footer and go back to where we were. Another thing that you can insert into your document, and again, we've got, as you can see, a whole bunch of them. Shapes are just what they sound like. Smart Art Chart, we'll look at shapes in PowerPoint a little bit. Charts we'll look at in Excel. Word Art we're looking in PowerPoint. So there's a lot of similarities. Now let me go to the end. I'm going to use Control End. We'll learn about that later. Insert a table. When I want to insert a table, I can pick the number of rows, the number of columns, and it will draw them in there. Okay. When I am working with a table, I can use the Tab key to move around. Shift Tab will take me backwards. If I didn't insert enough rows, when I press Tab in the last cell, each of those is called a cell, it'll add a row for me, so that's kind of cool. But if I do it by accident, I can undo and get rid of it. If I'm not happy with my table, I pick the wrong number of rows and columns, I can select it and right-click and choose Delete Table. Okay, but I've got different ways of working with that. And if you notice, when I do my table, I get 2 more ribbons. Okay, this one's more for formatting, so I can make it look pretty if I wanted to do something with that. This one has more for layout, so if I wanted to fix the column widths or the row heights or my alignment in my cell, or whatever. And that's kind of a weird color. I'm going to take that back to, I'll just undo the style. There we go. So I can add text. Okay, so get some text in there. And again, we've got formatting. I can select a cell by clicking, and I can work with that. So those are the things that you can insert. Let me go ahead and delete that table so we can start again for that. Now, I'd like you to kind of follow along in the to-do section. So let's go ahead and go back up to where we see bold and italics, and we're going to insert a page break. Okay, so italics starts on the next page. And we're going to use Control Home, that's a shortcut, to go to the top of the document. And we're going to insert a clip art picture of a fish. Okay, so again, we search for fish, and I could have left that, I guess, for that. And let's go ahead, while we have it here, because that's kind of a weird place for it, tell it to wrap text. We can use square. I'm going to shrink it down a little bit, smaller, and then I'm going to move it to the right of my paragraph so that my text will wrap on the left and the pictures on the right. Okay, so go ahead and see what you can do with that. And then we want to find a picture online. So let's jump over to a browser window, and we'll go to Google and search for mountains. I think is what we're searching for. And we'll do an image search so we get pictures of mountains, and we can just pick one that we like. Looks good. and click on that, and then right click and choose Save Image As. And that lets us save our picture where we want to save it. And I'm going to just save it to my documents, and I will call it Mountain, and hit Save. Pictures would be another place to save it. And then we'll go back to our Word document, and we will use Control End. That will move us to the end, and we will insert our picture from Documents. Let's see, down here somewhere. There's my mountain. Click Insert, and there's my picture. Okay, and we might want to make that just a little bit bigger, and we will mess with formatting that later. And then after the picture, I'm going to press Enter a couple times, and now I'm going to insert a table. Okay. And when I insert that table, I want it to be 3 by 4. So 3 over, 4 down, click OK. I've got a table, and I'm going to practice putting text in the table by typing, just do apple, banana, just pick a letter. Spell cat, dog, elephant. Okay, so something, just pick, let's say, go through the alphabet, add a word for each letter to your table, and when you're done, go ahead and save what you've done and put that file into your Dropbox.